This is Sheila's Take, a podcast where you can hear my take on everything: love, hate, relationships, family, and today's issues with a godly perspective. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Thank you for joining me. Today, I have a truly inspiring guest with us, Rachel Lavin. Rachel is a published author of the Donut Diaries. She's a powerful advocate for body love and a certified personal trainer and health coach. With a diverse background and experiences living in various locations across the United States and Canada, Rachel brings a unique perspective to the conversation around body image and self-acceptance. Rachel's mission is to create an inclusive and safe space where all women can feel whole in their own bodies. She embodies the essence of body love and strives to inspire others to embark on their unique journey towards self-acceptance and true transformation. Welcome, Rachel, to Sheila's Take. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you, Sheila, for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Listen, I couldn't wait to get you on here because you right now I am feeling you. I am in your space. This is what you're doing is exactly what I have been going through or for the last, I want to say 8 months. So definitely, I was so excited to get you on my podcast. So thank you. I want to start off with a quick question about your personal journey with body image and how it led you to become a body love advocate and educator for, positive body image.
Well, this journey is so personal for me because I lived it for over 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was an 11-year-old girl, was so conscious and aware of my body and how different I was at that age.
Mm-hmm.
And just always being on a diet, always gaining and losing weight, always just not knowing how the right combination of exercise and nourishment and rest, which I do know now, thankfully, I just couldn't get it together throughout those decades of my life. And I was just a miserable person. And I just took it out on myself relentlessly. So I didn't really I did not love myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not treat my body with love and kindness. And I think that for so many years, that was why I was so unhappy. And that's why I always felt kind of sick. And that's why I was always just kind of not a really good person, if you want to be honest.
Right.
But,
Okay.
and I don't want to jump ahead of you. So I hope that answered.
Oh, no, it's okay. You go. I asked for a question and you answered it. But you mentioned something about, knowing the correct way to do things with eating healthy, working out, and I can understand what you mean by that because for many years that was me. If I wanted to fit into a dress, I remember one of my friends got married and I wanted to fit into a dress to their the bridesmaid dress, and I ate tuna fish for a week so I could lose enough weight to get into that dress. And that was my mindset. I eat what I want to eat and then I'll starve myself. And I think that's still the mindset for a lot of people, right? And they don't realize that there's, if you just have the right combination, like you said, of exercise, sleep, nutrition. And I never thought sleep would be so important like that. It's really amazing when your eyes are open to those type of things. But let's talk about what inspired you to write the Donut Diaries.
So for many years, I was like, I want to write a book about how Rachel lost the weight and kept it off. I was a female personal trainer for over 20 years. And that pressure to have that perfect body was always right here. And then the weight would come back and I felt like I could never fulfill that destiny of mine to write a book. But then when I started to realize that I wanted more out of not only my career, but only my own life, COVID kind of happened and gave me a lot of free time. So I decided to take a chance on myself. But what the interesting part of my book now is that it's not just about my wins, it's about my failures.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that that was really going to be more effective in telling my story because, like you said, you have my story. There's tons of women out there, men and women, who share our story. And what better way to read it in a way that is like we're talking to each other just like this, just like friends, instead of I'm not selling a diet. I'm not selling any kind of plan. I'm not selling anything. I'm just using my own story in order to hopefully inspire you that you too can be free of all this diet culture.
Yeah, yeah. The restrictive diets, as you know, we call it, because there's so many things you can't do. You can't eat this, you can't eat that. I was just recently telling my husband that I can't do that. I have to eat. I come from a culture or family that we eat. And I've learned to eat healthier, but there are times when I want something, I want that mac and cheese and I want, that happens. Or you want that slice of pizza. You don't want to feel like, oh, well, you know what? I had that. So now I'm off this diet. I'm off that. And I got to start from the beginning and I got to do that. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And there are a lot of women that do that and they're still doing that. I can't even say women and men, I want to eat a celery stick every day.
Yes, I remember those days. But yes, I mean, you bring up a very valid point. There is always an aspect of the foods that we allow ourselves to have that we're doing something bad,
right?
Or we're derailing our progress, or I just love to tell people that absolutely every diet works in the beginning, because it does, and then it doesn't. Right. And that's why the fitness and beauty and diet industry is $90 billion strong, because they've always got another catch, another diet that's sure to work this time. This is the one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I hear you.
So let me ask you, how has your book been received by readers, and what impact do you hope it will have on those who resonate with your story?
Well, I definitely get lots of, yeah, this is my story. It's very relatable, and I'm very happy with that. The one thing I'm not sure that I was able to do was, yes, it's my story. Yes, you relate to it, but what are you going to do about it now? Like, what are you going to do to better yourself and have a better relationship with food? Right. And it also made me realize like how strong the lie is, like the lie that, you just said, I ate tuna fish for a week to fit in a dress. I've done the same thing to fit in something or to look like something so that mentality is still very alive and well, especially among women. And so I need to figure out how to get my message a little deeper. It's like, yeah, you relate to me, but are you willing to open that door and take care of yourself? So that's where I'm still trying to figure things out.
So you're a certified personal trainer, you're a health coach and a speaker. You bring a unique perspective to the conversation around the body image. How do you incorporate those three pillars of fitness? Nourishment for the mind and the body, and movement and rest. How do you incorporate that into your coaching and speaking engagements?
Well, I definitely tell people this is not a light switch. I wish it was, but it's going to take work on your part, right? It's going to take some time to re-establish a relationship with your body, because I think so many of us have forgotten to trust our bodies. And so when you have this way of thinking that this is how you have to eat, or this is how you have to exercise, that may not work for you forever. You have to change those things. You have to do some investigation. And I always tell people, if you're forcing yourself to eat healthy, I'm using air quotes here, and you hate absolutely everything that you're putting in your mouth, then you need to really reevaluate what you're doing to yourself, because there are so many beautiful, nutritious, healthy foods that fuel you and make you feel good and actually taste amazing.
Yeah.
So for you to force yourself to eat kale and oatmeal and broiled chicken for the rest of your life, you're missing out on life.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to think about that. You are missing out on having a life because this is a choice that you've made because someone told you it was healthy.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really trying to like open people's eyes. We don't have to, like, thin doesn't have to mean suffering. Being healthy doesn't have to mean eating foods that you don't like. Right. They don't go together. They don't. It's the opposite of is true.
Yeah, I that's true, because there was a lot of things that I ate in the past, and I didn't enjoy it. I'm like, you mentioned kale. I love kale. I love broccoli, but I don't like cauliflower. And a lot of these, you eat cauliflower, eat it. I don't like that, but or asparagus, which, I'm kind of, I started and I kind of have a taste for it, but there are a lot of things. And like you said, the broiled chicken and all this other stuff. And I'm like, is this what I'm going to have to eat for the rest of my life so that I can look a certain way? It has to be a better way. And if you're if you're forcing yourself to eat something, most likely it's not going to work out for you. It's not going to work out for you. And people need to be aware of that, and you said something about trusting your body. And that is one of the things that I've heard over and over and over, trust your body. It's gonna tell you, it's gonna let you know, what's going on, if you can push yourself to do this or not. So that's some good advice there, Miss Rachel.
Thank you.
What are some common challenges or obstacles that people face when it comes to improving their body image and trying to develop a healthy relationship with food and exercise?
Well, I don't think that they take a look at the whole picture right away. They still feel like, okay, what do I need to do to be the smallest version of myself? And that means that I can't eat all these things. I can only eat these things. Right. We have to broaden our thinking. We have to broaden our thinking that, okay, so you want to survive on protein bars and protein shakes, but you don't want to eat a steak. Right? Or, you don't want to eat a salad, but you're going to take those gummy candies that say they're vegetables. Like, I need people to really start thinking about what they're doing and what they believe. Right. And listen, I drank the Kool-Aid for many, many years, so I get it. But there has to come a time where you look at a bottle of gummies saying they're giving you all your nutrients, and then you look at, a piece of chicken and you're like, huh. Yeah. So that's part of it. We have to kind of wake up. We have to kind of wake up and realize that the lies that we're being fed by the diet industry are really not in our best interest. And then secondly, it's let's look at our lifestyle as a whole. Do we wake up grateful? Do we wake up thankful? Do we smile a couple of times a day? Are we kind to ourselves? Are we kind to each other? And if you have to think about that and the answer is probably no, then let's reevaluate what you're doing to yourself on a daily basis. And as far as movement, I don't like to use the word hate, but I hate more than anything when I hear a trainer tell, oh yeah, you're going to be paralyzed for the next 7 days because of this workout. It's like, why can't I leave this workout feeling energized and I can't wait to come back tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? Right. So to beat your body up doesn't make any sense to me either. That's not the point. The point is we are created to move. We're not created to do all this crazy stuff and then have to sit on the couch for 3 days because we can't lift our legs.
Yeah.
So all these lies that we live by and we think it makes perfect sense, all I'm asking is that people question that.
Especially when it comes to your body. How do you create a safe and inclusive space for women to feel comfortable and empowered in their bodies? What strategies or techniques do you use?
Well, it's important for me to start off any group or any session with, you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
I have been there too. I am not trying to change your life. I'm here to support you while you learn how to walk back to yourself. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very easy for a woman in the fitness industry to create codependent relationships with other women because they feel like they can't do it alone. Mm-hmm. And I really want to demystify that, because you can. I'm here to show you how you can take care of yourself, how you can self-soothe yourself, how you can go to the gym and feel safe and not feel like, you know, everyone's looking at you or you don't know what to do. I want women I work with to feel empowered, because there is nothing for me that is more beautiful and more powerful to be able to walk into a place that's like deemed for men, mm-hmm. and be able to just like to breeze through it. And like, I do not need help. I got this.
Right. Ooh.
I love that.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's good. That's good. I know there was a reason why I connected with you. Listen, along your journey, have there been any significant breakthroughs or moments of transformation that have impacted you on how you view and approach body image?
Yes, I think that when I was doing some hard healing and dealing with some traumas, I realized that the person who was the nastiest to me was me.
Yes, you.
And I really had to teach that traumatized girl to become a healed, healthy woman. And that was a lot of work, but it was worth it. And I think I learned along the way who I was, who I wanted to be, how I wanted to treat myself, and therefore how I deserve to be treated by other people. Mm-hmm. And I think that as women, we forget that a lot. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I hear this story over and over again. I don't believe I deserve this, or, you know, I allow this because I deserve that. It's just, we really need to put more energy into building women up, especially at a younger age, to stay out of abusive relationships. I mean, I am baffled at the fact of sex trafficking and human trafficking, how prevalent it is. And I actually work with an organization here in Greenville that helps women, you know, get back on their feet. Mm-hmm. And to hear their stories, it's like, I didn't feel like I deserved this, or I didn't love me. And I'm not saying that that's what, I'm not trying to put myself in any kind of person's shoes, but I do believe that the stronger our will is to love ourselves, mm-hmm. that we do not tolerate behavior like that. And so it's important for me to start talking to those moms. Like, you've got to think about your girls when they grow up, or, you know, to help women realize their worth. Yeah,
it's a self-esteem issue, and we need to empower the women. You know, they're not able to just take anything and accept anything, because a lot of them do. A lot of young girls, you know, I hate to say that, but a lot of young girls, they don't feel like they're worthy or deserving of certain things, and you know, they don't treat their bodies the right way. I mean, let's face it, for years, you know, that was me. I was horrible to my body, and mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm learning as I got older, but I'm also experiencing a lot of those trauma. I'm not going to say traumas, but issues, because I didn't treat my body like I should have when I was younger. You know, I wish, one of the things I was asked a couple of months ago was, if there was one thing you could have learned when you were younger, what would have been? And I said to take care of my body, to be healthy, to eat healthy, to be a healthier person. That's one of the things I wish I would have learned early as a young woman. let's switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to talk about your work as a speaker, right? What are some key messages or takeaways that you aim to leave with your audience when discussing body positivity and self-love?
I mean, I know I mentioned this already, but it's true. I really want women to walk away feeling that they're not alone. And I think the interesting thing when you become a speaker, like, I don't come from this like mind-blowing scientific background that I'm just going to, shove down your throat.
Right.
But I realize that there is power in sharing my story. I don't have anything to sell other than I want you to be free. I do. I really want that for all women and all people. I really do want you to be happy. And it's important to understand like my journey, how I had to get there. It may not work for you, but at least you know that I'm a person, you're a person, and I was able to get past all those things that kind of held me hostage for so many years. So that's what I'm hoping to do, is really share my story, share how I did it. Hopefully some of those takeaways will resonate with people. So that's how I'm approaching it.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good. You've lived in different cities and communities. You lived in Hawaii, Vancouver, New York City, and now you're in Greenville, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that influence your perspective on body image and body acceptance? Because I know in different areas, it's like, do you think that they're kind of the same mindset, or different places, different women have different views on their body and the image and how it's accepted?
I understand the question, and I will say from my experience, it's no different anywhere.
No?
Mm-mm.
No.
And by doing all these podcasts and meeting amazing women like across the pond, like to hear even women in other countries feel this way. It's like, this is a global issue.
Yeah.
It is a global issue. I don't even understand TikTok, but when I hear young girls or women tell me about TikTok and all the things that they're seeing, like I cannot even imagine being inundated with all that every day. But it's no different technically if you think about it. When we were growing up, like we had the TV shows and the commercials and the magazines and the ads and all the things. Don't tell anybody, but I'm rewatching like old episodes of Melrose Place, and one of the characters literally, she's like, put on weight. And it's like how women are pitched against each other. Yeah. And that was just like in the 90s. That wasn't so long ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just think it's fascinating that fatness and bigness and bodies have just been such a focal point of our society.
Yeah. And it seems like it's always been that way, and it's really sad, but that it's always been that way. And hopefully the mindset will change. One of the people that I love, and I love this woman, is Lizzo, because she's so comfortable in her body and her skin, and she lets you know, as long as you're healthy and you're comfortable with yourself, you can be beautiful any size. It doesn't matter if you're a size 2 or if you're a size 22. It's a lot of the personality. It's the self-esteem, the self-confidence, and self-love, But what advice do you have for individuals who are struggling with negative images or feeling trapped in restrictive diets? How can they start their own journey towards self-acceptance and body love?
I think it's so important to start small, right? I think so many times when we want to change or we want to change a behavior, we just try to do it all at once.
Right.
And I think that's setting yourself up for failure. So pick the tiniest thing. If it's your relationship with food, and like we talked about earlier tonight, if you're forcing yourself to eat something that you hate, give yourself permission to not eat it. Find another equivalent, that's something that tastes good to you. if it's something that, you can't leave the house without saying something nasty to yourself, do something positive. Say you're beautiful. Say your body is perfect today. Or if you've got someone in your life that is always talking about your body, tell them my body is not up for discussion. Learn how to use that inner strength and practice it on a daily basis. It's not easy, folks. It's not easy, especially if you have to kind of assert yourself and stand up to somebody else, but it is possible. And I think that when we do find that inner strength, there's no stopping us, and we just keep going and keep healing. And I think that that is the best message I can offer, is start small. Baby steps are steps, right? So don't try to do it all. Don't try to do it all at once. It's just, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Wow. Yeah, that's good advice right there. I agree with that. It takes baby steps. Every small accomplishment is a step to the next one, and embrace the accomplishments and enjoy it and move on, little by little. So what's next for Miss Rachel Lavin? What do you got going on? What's coming up? What's going on? Are you gonna write another book, or what's next on the horizon for you?
I'm still learning and still figuring out who I am and where my place in this space is, in all honesty. And I think that I have come to the realization this year that I still had some healing to do, and I don't have to be just one thing. And I think that's kind of freeing, especially in this space, especially with all the health coaches and all the body positivity that we're being inundated with right now. There's always going to be something shinier, right? But I know what my message is like, if you do the work, if you heal, you can then have the life you want. And that message, most people are like, no, I don't want it. So I think that it might be slow going, but I'm here to stay for sure.
Definitely. Lastly, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for the fact that I woke up this morning. I'm grateful that I get to meet amazing women like you. And I'm grateful that I have created a life for myself where I feel that I am living my most truthful, honest life.
Rachel, I thank you for being a guest on my podcast on Sheila's Take today. And I want my listeners to go out and get the Donut Diaries by Miss Rachel Lavin. And it can be on what? You can get it on Amazon.
You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on barnesandnobles.com. And you can also get there from my website. You just click on the button and it'll take you right to Amazon.
And,
so
let my listeners know what your website is.
Of course, RachelLavinWellness.com. You can find me also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram under the same name, Rachel Lavin Wellness.
Well, again, thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you. And definitely keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Join me next time where I will continue to discuss more of today's issues. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.